Those who closely follow the international affairs have probably noticed that China has long been labeled a human rights violator, especially in recent years, as the country has gradually making its voices heard on the global stage. Whether it's about the traffic surveillance cameras or the much politicized issues in China's Xinjiang region, the Asian powerhouse has long been scrutinized. Not surprisingly, Western criticism has followed the outbreak of the novel coronavirus. The Chinese government announced a lockdown of Wuhan, the epicenter of the epidemic.
Wuhan 开始实行交通管控。
Cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen simultaneously activated their primary public health safety alerts, meaning people should remain under home quarantine, especially those who had returned from Hubei province. Residential compounds should set up checkpoints at entrance gates and record the body temperature of all residents entering and leaving the community, thereby minimizing the chance of further transmission. In Wuhan, 2 hospitals were built to accommodate more than 2,000 of severe cases. A number of public venues were converted into medical facilities to care for thousands of mild cases. One representative from each household is allowed to go out for groceries every other day to make sure they are fully stocked with daily necessities. Also, temporary traffic restrictions are in place to reduce movement throughout the city. Is this a sacrifice? Yes. Will this help stem the deadly outbreak? Yes. And the World Health Organization offered their supporting voices.
So what China are trying to do is, while they're getting success in putting out one fire, they don't want the fire to start somewhere else. So they're taking very directed measures to ensure that people returning to the city are observed and monitored. Now you can argue whether those measures are excessive or whether they're restrictive on people, but there's a lot at stake here. There's an awful lot at stake here in terms of public health and in terms of not only the public health of China, but of all people in the world.
Modelization has shown that those measures on movement restriction have delayed the dissemination of the outbreak of 2 or 3 days within China and a few weeks outside China.
Passengers have begun disembarking.
The Japanese government ordered the similar quarantine method when 500 of 3,700 passengers and crew on board the Diamond Princess cruise ship were diagnosed with the coronavirus. Despite some experts criticizing the condition of the ship, fearing it had become the incubator for the virus. However, the only viable method is to put everyone under quarantine to avoid further risks to the rest of the society. Hundreds of Americans aboard the Diamond Princess, where travelers have been mostly confined to their cabins since February 3rd, have been flown back to the US and will face similar quarantine methods there. The fact is, the past few weeks have been tough for most Chinese. They had to stay home to avoid the infection. However, they've demonstrated there's more than one way to stay still. As I scan through TikTok, one of the most popular video sharing platforms in China, even during such difficult times, Chinese people are upholding positive and happy images of China. I believe each government is trying its best to offer the best to its own people, when the entire nation is trying its best to fight the virus, and this, I believe, is the right spirit.